Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Your gun doctor here, ready for weapon changes, rows getting nerfed, the game finally working, and more. And we're not talking about some weapon changes, we're talking about all the weapon changes. They promised a lot, and they did a lot. Let's go through this. First and foremost, we're getting NVIDIA DLSS for the Warzone. That means the game should be running way smoother for everyone right now. DLSS is going to make the game just run better if you have a NVIDIA graphic card of the 2000 generation and above. When it comes down to gameplay, very interesting. Sticking players with SEMTEX will now always down them. That kind of upgrades the SEMTEX tremendously because it used not to do that. Also very interesting, on the ZRG20, you couldn't hold breath when you're using 3 times and 4 times. Now you can do that. So interestingly enough, the ZRG might become, after all, a quick sniper. But now let's come to the very interesting parts. We will start with the Cold War AK-47. Recoil pattern has been adjusted. As you know, the AK-47 goes up, down, up. So now the recoil pattern on the AK-47 has been made its downside far more apparent than its upsides. It smoothed out its recoil to make it easier to control. So either they push the vertical together, it's still up, down, up, but more vertically together. That would be fantastic. If you're accurate or skilled at recoil control, you will now find the Cold War AK-47 effective at most ranges. That's really good to see. It could definitely push it up in the meta. The gun was already meta as sniper support, not as like an SMG, but as sniper support. So that will be very interesting to see. The FARA has a minimum damage increase from 25 to 26, but a maximum damage decrease from 33 to 31, and the maximum damage range increased by 17%. That's really the interesting part, that you finally have more range with the FARA, because there was no reason to use it because the FARA was just a way worse FAR. But now that the recoil pattern has been adjusted as well, as fast-firing AR with relatively strong recoil, we felt there was too much of an identity overlap between the FARA 83 and the FAR. Exactly. To smooth out its recoil and push its damage profile out to be more viable mid-long range AR option. Like this, it might become a new Bruin, depending on how they actually change the recoil so that you can then finally use it for long range beaming. And now we have waited for this very long, guys. The FFAR gun nerfed. Maximum damage decreased from 30 to 27. Definitely what we talked about, decreased the damage. Maximum damage range decreased, exactly what you wanted to see. The gun just can't beam up to 50 meters. Neck damage multiplier changed from 1.1 to 1. That's good. Upper torso damage multiplier changed from 1.1 to 1. Small changes. Nothing insane, but definitely balancing the gun. ADS speed decreased slightly. Perfect. With high damage rate of fire and a competitive max size, the FAR has enjoyed a lengthy reign of terror on the short to mid-range engagement space. When a weapon is so ruthlessly efficient that it pushes the entirety of a weapon category out of viability, it needs to be addressed. The FAR will remain a respectable option following this change, but it should be a playstyle preference rather than a loadout necessity. It is very well worded, Raven Software, and exactly what we are talking about. The Groza also got changed, and you know why, guys? Because the Groza would instantly be the new FAR. Recoil increased slightly, okay? ADS speed decreased slightly. Upper torso damage multiplier changed from 1.3 to 1.1. That I do feel wasn't necessary. The Groza with a more recoil and more ADS time is already balanced then. I don't think they would have to increase the upper torso damage, decrease the upper torso damage multiplier. This change was more of a precaution. We expect in the absence of the FAR, the Groza would rise to take its place. But there will always be a meta. We want the meta to exist in a TDK range that's a bit higher than we were currently. In that regard, we believe the Groza was a bit out of an outlier. This is very good to see, guys. They finally actually noticed that there is a problem. And they're doing something about this. I did not expect them to be smart enough to predict that the Groza would replace the FAR and then to nerf that. Kudos, Raven Software. Krig. Finally, the Krig might be possible, guys. So the head damage multiplier is by 1, by neck damage by 2, and then upper and lower torso damage also have a multiplier. Finally, the Krig does more damage. That's very interesting. The Krig has long been overshadowed by other all-stars in the AR category. We believe this change will allow for a more competitive time to kill to give the shots are well played. Whew. Definitely a new kilo. Yes, the Krig should work now. Move speed increased, ADS move speed increased. Neck damage multiplier changed from 1 to 1.2, and upper torso damage multiplier changed from 1 to 1.1. The QBZ is a unique weapon that trades overall lethality for mobility. We aim to provide players with the tools to support a multitude of interesting playstyle options. Our goal is that with the right attachments, skillful maneuvering, and rotations will be a hallmark of the QBZ playstyle. Right now, as what I see what the QBZ has to offer, guys, The QBZ will be a sniper support gun or an SMG QBZ, because I don't know if you ever noticed it, but the QBZ has insane movement speed. If you pick up the ground loot QBZ, you're having suddenly and just flying over the map. It's absolutely crazy. Could be very interesting to see what this change actually does for it. The LC10 has a bullet velocity increase slightly, so I guess that makes it even more sniper support gun as it has been, so now it has more bullet velocity. Mag 10, maximum damage range decreased by 1. This is another precautionary change to promote diversity. The Mag 10 is most popular and fun to use. Part of what makes the Mag 10 feel fair to play against is that the upside feels comparative to its downside. That's where player skill comes in. Knowing when and what the weapon to swap to during an engagement, the facet of skill expression we want to highlight whenever possible. While this change only brings the Mag 10's time to kill up by about 10%, we think this is a good play to start to encourage exploration in the SMG category. I guess the maximum damage decrease is good there. As they say, the Mag 10 might have been then again the one gun to use and no one other gun makes sense. Okay, what do we have? The Pellington has a slight ADS speed increase and the raised time increased slightly. I don't see the reason why they would do anything about the Pellington. The Pellington was absolutely fantastic. There was no reason to remotely even touch it. Cold War Tactical Rifle Charlie. That's the AUG. Why is it called Charlie? Because we have an AUG in Modern Warfare 2. Time between bursts increased by 33%. Neck damage multiplier changed from 1.8 to 1.3. Yes, gun is gone. Bye. There. That's it. Goodbye, Tactical Rifle Charlie. Then M16. Time between bursts increased by 10%. Still okay. Neck damage multiplier changed from 1.8 to 1.1. And bye, M16. I do think the M16 is still viable, though, because it can be used on long range and it still does 40-40-40. 40-40-40, 40-40-40 damage. You just don't do insane headshot damage anymore, which kind of then makes it work. Cold War Tactical Rifle Charlie and M16 were able to reach rates of fire that allowed the wielder to negate a requisition identity pillar of burst rifle accuracy. With their extreme rates of fire and generous burst pattern, shots were not required to be well placed. Yes. You would inherit the high damage profile and a range of burst rifle with minimal downside. For this change and the change of fire rate barrels noted below, you will need to aim deliberately if you intend to kill quickly. Now let's see what they're doing to the barrels, guys. Also, yes, they're having an eye on the AMAX, which is very important. So, position concealment. Position concealment will reduce the time your position is visible on the compass and minimap after firing. This effect has been added as a pro on both flashguard and SOCOM and KG. Oh, so position concealment will reduce the time your position is visible on the compass. Interesting. So, a KGB eliminator and a SOCOM eliminator, they're not a suppressor, but they're kind of a suppressor because you shoot, beep up, and go away. Shoot, beep up, and go away. So, there is the rapid fire barrel, increased rate of fire reduced by 58%, so you shoot half as fast. Then the rapid fire on Tactical Rifle Charlie 2. The strike team has also no fire rate. The strike team has also no fire rate in the Titanium 2. Okay, they're absolutely ruined. That's crazy. Oh, now they even nerfed the Psycho further. So the auto 140mm now decrease the damage from 23 to 19, and then with the 140 and akimbo, you're from 19 to 14. Okay, that's it. Now the Psycho is gone. The Psycho, when equipped with any permutation of the Sorokin, has been far more lethal at range than we would prefer. When secondary weapons can go toe-to-toe, or even with best primary weapons consistently risk streamlining access to one of the most powerful perks in the game, Ghost. Wow, they actually take everything into wow, Raventopper, you take everything into consideration. You're crazy. This is mental. Okay, so laser, Ember sight point, ADS speed penalty reduced by 20%. That's interesting. That makes Ember sight point more viable. Target designator, flashlight is now visible during hipfire and ADS. Good to know. The magazines, ADS speed penalty reduced by 20%. So the Salvo and the VDV Fast Mag are now more viable again, and the Speed Mag is also viable again. Cool. Flashguard added position concealment. We talked about that. Suzette Multipro ADS penalty. Oh, very interesting. So you can use this faster now, and the Vulture Custom also by 20%. Very good. Increases to ADS speed reduced by roughly 10%. So the rear grips also do even faster ADS speed now. Wow. We've begun to iterative process of tweaking values on attachment. We would like the diminution of weapon downsides to be built direction rather than a single attachment choice. As it stands, we feel most attachments need to have their values addressed in some regard to achieve this. We're hoping to make some previously non-viable options less so, in addition to widening overall build variety. This may include increasing upsides or downsides on existing attachments. We're also actively looking at how we can create more compelling choices within the confines of attachment categories. chiefly muzzles like the Monolithic and the Agency Suppressor. That's pretty damn crazy. They actually thought about everything. This is going to be beautiful to build guns now. Well done, Raven Software. I'm more than surprised. A Rose. We've adjusted Rose in order to improve the operator's readability, visibility, and where sources of lights are available. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the nerfs? Are they enough? Were they too much? Did they exactly get the guns targeted that you would think they would do? I am definitely seeing a change in the meta now. The Krig 6 is going to be long-range viable. There's the AK-47 as sniper support finally. Could be also like an SMG, especially since the other guns got nerfed, so we'll be having an eye on that. QBZ might also be now an absolute movement speed monster, SMG QBZ, or something like a sniper support QBZ 2. We'll see about that. The FARA 83 might finally see play. Obviously, we don't know how good the new SMGs are going to be. With their rear grips now working even more, minus 10% bonus ADS reduction, the Cold War snipers become even more viable than they have been before. So now you can play the ZRG with a speed tape. And then on top of that, you can also use it 3 and 4 times now to zoom it in even faster. So that's very interesting to see the shift in the meta and what is there to come. I hope you're as pumped as me to see what's there coming in and out. I'll be having now enough material to drop you videos for the next 100 days to come at least. So I'm very pumped for that. Let's get excited. Let's get ready. Welcome to the new Season 3.